Good afternoon, Frank Watkins, 12th of August 2016. The All Ords today finished at 5626. We're up 41 on the week. Last week's close was 5585. Getting a fair few questions coming in at the moment, given that the market's performing so well, and they've all got a basic theme to them. And that theme is, should I buy this stock or should I not? So I've chosen several stocks that we've been looking at recently and a couple of new ones, and I just want to go through the basic concept of what I call resistance. Now, this stock, Harvey Norman, clearly had resistance across there. Now, the resistance, firstly, there's two highs here back in March. That is one resistance level. And then we touched it again in August. So from March to August, I don't know, that's 5 or 6 months. This high hadn't been broken. I can't see anywhere else any other reason why I'd have bought Harvey Norman. Once this high is made, then I think we're in with a fighting chance. We've got a decent area of resistance, and I'd be quite happy to place orders on Harvey Norman after it had made this high here. Nowhere else in the rest of this year can I see any buy signal. Now, I might be wrong, but I'm trying to look for A, the perfect trade, B, a lot of resistance, and C, what I hope will be a long-term trade. So, Harvey Norman may have fitted into that category. The only reason I wouldn't have entered Harvey Norman is because I'm not a fan of retail at the moment. But I think you need to let the chart do the talking. The question that we get when it's up here during the day, people ring up, is it too late to enter Harvey Norman? Yes, it is. Should I buy Harvey Norman now? I wouldn't. You might want to. Be that as it may, you can buy Harvey Norman whenever you want. I'm not saying it's going to go higher. I'm not saying it's going to go lower. I'm just saying I wouldn't buy it up there. Firstly, if you buy on a break of this resistance, the logical place to me to have a stop is under this prominent low point, this prominent data point here. So from here, let's say $4.94 down to $4.64, 30-cent risk in nearly a $5 stock. I'm happy with that. But if I buy up here at 517, I still have to have the stop down here. So there's 2 points. Firstly, you've missed the boat. Secondly, you've expanded your risk if you do choose to buy. The next one, we talked about this for quite a while. A few people got onto it. Not enough. But this resistance was pretty much perfect. We set this peak in March. We had a crack at it again in May. We touched it 2 days in a row in June. We touched it again a couple of times later in June. And you may have even bought this point here at 808. But clearly you needed to have an order placed before this day. Now, we were on this, we sent out the recommendation. There's no way we expected to go from the 11th of July at $8 to, let's say, the 11th of August at $12. We were not expecting that. But with the long resistance here, plus an ascending triangle, there was a good chance this would break out and run hard in this particular market. The market at the moment is pretty good. So nowhere else can I see anywhere remotely where I would have bought Harvey Norman based on what I'm seeing there. Now, if I bring in more data, I still see no reason to buy it anywhere there. If I bring in a bit more data, we go to a weekly 5-year chart, perhaps a break of this level, $11.60, might get me going, but it's a different kettle of fish. We're talking about this area back here, and basically in that whole chart, to my mind, you might have bought this break here at $7.50. Had you bought this break, there is actually 2 buy signals on this chart. I maintain you'd have had your stop under here, and you could well have got the whole run. But really, I see 2 buy signals on that chart and no more, and certainly not worth going into now. I haven't said it isn't going to 15 or 20 or 30 or $100. I've simply said I don't have an entry signal. MVF, we're getting the same sort of question on MVF. Now, again, we put the buyout back here at about $1.90, $1.92. We're now $2.47. It's too late to hop on board. So there's one perfect buy signal there. There might have been a decent buy signal back here. A good period of resistance, 3 months. That's enough for me. Good rise in volume here, good rise in on-balance volume. You had to sit tight for a while, but finally you got it. NWH, we've had a lot of fun with this boy. There it is there, plain as the nose on your face. Resistance from February to June to July, actually 6 months. Now whether you took that as your resistance line, break of 30 is what got you going, or to my mind it was clearly this here. I know we went through it a bit there, but you quite often get a bit of an overreaction on the first gallop up. Very clear buying somewhere in here around 27 level. Would I buy it now? No, I wouldn't. What I would do now, what in actual fact I'm going to do now, given that we own a fair heap of this in the funds that we manage, I would look at that peak on a line chart, 46. No, I wouldn't. I would add to the position on a break of 50. That's it. That would be my next buy signal. Let's just go back to a line chart. Let's just see if we can't look at this a bit better on a weekly. I can't really see any resistance there at 50. It's only the the traditional big round number. Can't see much reason why that's not going up to, that's about 85, 90 cents. And there's probably another buyer here when it breaks $1.50, if it ever does. But there was just this absolute classic sensational buy signal on NWH at that break. The rising on balance volume, the rising volume on the first break, dead flat OBV, very little volume, and then away she goes. MCR, we've talked about this one as well. 2 perfect buy signals. The break there of 25, we had resistance in March, and we touched it again in May. 2 months, that's enough for me. Same here, 18th of May through to 11th of July, that's 6 weeks, that's enough for me. Would I buy it now? No. Possibly, you might have squeezed in on that break. I can tell you now, we didn't. So again, to my mind, this one is pretty clearly just going to be add to the position on a break of 50. If it gets there, you look across here, yeah, it's done a fair bit of work at this 50 cent level. that could be a good profit target too. I have no issues with, let's say, selling 47.48 and then joining back in at 51.52 if it does it. But again, it's nice to put your hand in your pocket and take some profits and enjoy the fruits of your labour. Now, Millennium, same thing, same. There's a really good buy back here, which I freely, happily admit I just sat and watched. That was a ripper back there. Yeah, resistance from August, pretty much touching again in October, and going through to Feb. Again, 6 months of resistance, big volume. Everything was ready to go there. My issue was in February I really wasn't looking for these junior explorers to do anything like what they've done. I just wasn't believing it, I guess. Again, same thing here. We touched here in April, we touched again in June, and we broke away in July. Next step, let's go to a weekly again just to get some more data in there. We're at that level, so yeah, 36, 37. There's a fair bit of resistance there, and we've already touched 35. If we break through this whole level here, 40, this will be up and away, and again I need to go into my patterns, find sources. I see that as a big saucer, and just add that one to my little storybook of sources. One that I don't think I've mentioned on a broadcast, S32. Very keen on this. I guess it's got to break through that little area there, which just happens to be the $2 level. If we bring a bit more data in, we can see, you know, a fraction. It's just got to get through that $2 level, and then it'll be up and away. The next one, SMX. Whoops. SMX. Need to go back to a daily and bring in a bit less data. We've had a crack at this 224, 225 level. I think if we can get through there, I'm very tempted with something like this to line chart it. And that highest close is 223.5. I could put orders on there right now at 225.5. Be very easy to do. Good volume spike, good on balance volume. The candle boys, yeah. This here to me is impulse stuff, as is this. This is slightly corrective. Yeah, I think there's a fair bit in favour of SMX. A little tiddler for you, JCS, J-curve solutions. Let's hope this doesn't turn into a J-curve, but this is as close as you can get to my favourite pattern. We bolted here to 3 cents in 2 days. We went from under a cent to 3 cents. No one would have got that. We have the period of consolidation, low volume, rock solid on balance volume, broke out today. Now, again, as far as I'm concerned, you should already be in that. If you want to join in, that's your call. Do I think it's going higher? Yes, you can tell from my chart I've clearly been looking at it. Would I buy it on the close today at 3334? No, I wouldn't. The buy was 3.1, pure and simple. That was it. Difference between 3.1 and 3.3 on 100,000 of them was only $200 or something. but I just stress this perfect trade business. If you want to go to the other end of the scale, the next big one that we jump all over will be WOR. Let's draw the resistance line. We're back there in June. Nice big round number at about $8. I shouldn't have said about $8, should I? But the big round number is very close. If we go back to that day, the high was 808. If we go back to this day, the high was 813. I see this as an ascending triangle. From that gap up is where I'll draw my support line. So we're about $6.06 and about $8.06 here, $2. So I tend to think that could go $2 fairly quickly, like Monadelphous did. But again, the orders should already be placed. No point waiting for it to go to $8.30, then saying, should I have joined in, or gee, I missed it. Another one that we certainly spoke about, DOW. It's the same old, same old. We were buyers back here on a break of $4, and she bolted. Would I buy that now? No, I wouldn't. There was one perfect buy, and it was back there at $4, $4.01 or $2. So at the end of the day, we're just looking for longer term resistance. There are stocks out there that might make 2 or 3 highs, same high in a week. That to me is not resistance. Resistance really needs to be weeks or months, preferably months. The reason you come back to a couple of weeks resistance is simply because the market's running hot and you want to get on board. But in the bad times over the last 5 or 6 years, just about, you really want to look for that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of resistance before you climb on board. Okay, hope that's tidied a few things up for a few people. I shall talk to you next week. Touch wood. I will be I'm addressing a forum in Hong Kong next week, but I should be able to get to the machine on Friday afternoon. Talk to you then. Cheers.